back. Hello. This is the Case of the Golden Idol, and we're about to launch into the second part of Chapter 3, which is Part 8 of the whole game. I don't actually know how many chapters there are in this game, so we're just going to keep going, I guess. Maybe it'll make itself clear. So, actually, we've been doing, I think, pretty well. We had a tough time with this cursed dinner party. That took a long time, but after that, I think we've been vibing with the game. At some point, another chapter's going to come along and kick our ass, but thankful for small mercies so far. I think it's been going okay. It's hard to really say what the story so far is, but essentially, the Cloudsley family, let's put it like that, found a golden idol many, many years ago, and it seems to have passed through the family. It has some kind of special abilities depending on which symbols you kind of input into the back of it. It can increase and decrease elemental effects, I think we'll say, it seems like, in certain ways. So you could decrease the amount of air in a thing, increase the amount of water in the thing, or gold, or a bunch of other stuff that we are unfamiliar with yet. Or you can increase the temperature of the thing. We'll probably see other things like that. So that's kind of what the Golden Idol does. There does seem to be people after this Golden Idol, and they seem mainly now, I think, maybe to be the Brotherhood of the Masks, who are these people. But it's unclear. There are some... It's actually quite unclear who maybe the bad guys are. And maybe we're not really necessarily meant to think in terms of protagonists and antagonists, because we're not playing as any of these people. None of these people are us. Okay, we're just observers to the chaos that's unfolding, really. And we're kind of we're not a character ourselves. We're sort of like a godly observer. We can look inside safes, we can look inside cupboards, we can open locked doors. You know, we can just browse around and work things out like little angels coming across a scene. So yeah, we're tracking basically the path of various interested parties. Edmund Cloudsley, who was the last person to definitely possess the Golden Idol, is now dead because he died using it to set off a booby trap to kill some bandits who are after the Golden Idol. And we think... Wait, let me bring up the... Walter Keane, a charming bandit who was in the Brotherhood of the Masks, now has the idol, but has hidden that fact from the Brotherhood of Masks. And has actually teamed up in recent months with David Goran, who was Edmund's servant. And I believe... So Edmund Goran... So in this chapter, Walter Keane, charming bandit, and a couple of goons entered Edmund's house to try and steal the idol, it seemed like. The goons died. Edmund died. David Goran got injured. And then the next thing we know, Walter Keane, the bandit, and David Goran, the Edmund servant, have teamed up to infiltrate the Brotherhood of the Masks to get Walter out of a little sticky situation with them. Anyway, I've waffled enough. Let's carry on with part 8. The crowning celebration by the lighthouse. It's good fun, this. Like, it's like... it's been satisfying. I felt clever making the little connections that I have in order to solve the puzzle. I felt a bit silly during the dinner party because I just wasn't connecting things quite how the game was communicating to me. But that's fine. That's how games go. Anyway, let's go into this one. All right. So we're at a lighthouse on a very small island in some kind of cove, maybe, or an inlet, or an estuary, or a delta. Anyway, we've got a bunch of people. It seems so. This is the Brotherhood of the Masks. They're wearing the robes of the marksdom. And actually, let me just bring up my clues folder. Aha. Right. So, to remind ourselves, this is what the Brotherhood of the Masks wears to show their house, which is the mask, and their rank, which is the cloak. So the white cloaks are the masters. This kind of pukey coat is a steward, which is one below master, kind of a middling rank, and the brown burgundy maroon coats are the initiates. The masks, they're not wearing the masks, so we don't know which mask belongs to who yet, but maybe we will. And we're going to be able to go into the lighthouse at some point, and there's a dead body here, so yeah, let's do it in our traditional way. People first, and then left to right across the scene. This guy says, "This was an actual miracle. Unbelievable. So there is a Griffin reborn." They say something about the... This music is a bit weird, isn't it? It sort of starts going a bit off kilter. They tend to sign off their like letters and greetings and things as like, "May the Griffin be reborn," or something. Like they do allude to a griffin in the same way that, I don't know, Jedis might say, "May the Force be with you." It seems to be like a little thing they say, but actually this seems to be alluding to an actual in-world thing. Okay, that was an actual miracle. Unbelievable. So it's actually a miracle, a Griffin reborn. This is the ruby ring that all of the Brotherhood wear. I should go back in chapters actually and see who was wearing them. Anyway, this is an unfortunate shaped object, isn't it? Nice wide base though. Right, I think it's a stamp, and the stamp has the number 7 on it, because you have to imagine it flipped, because it's going to... I wonder if it's used for one of the wax seals they send their envelopes in. Yeah, heavy seal. So if you imagine it flipped, it's going to be VII, so that's a 7 seal. Right, what are you up to? "Kneel before Griffin reborn and make ready. I will lead you, brothers, to great many changes." Is this the guy from the last chapter who recently got initiated? Let's double check that. I haven't got the character sheet for the last chapter because there wasn't one. Right, so let's go downstairs. He was over here. Yes. So let's, in fact... Okay, one sec. Put you over there. I need to go to the letter to confirm what his name is. Lazarus Hurst. So I'm going to save this guy as... So I'm going to say Charles 3.1 Lazarus Hurst. There we go. Let's save him as that. Just so I can remember. I'm sure I'll become familiar with him as time goes on. It seems like he's an important character. Right, back to Lazarus Hurst. So he's just been initiated, but he is saying, "I will lead you, brothers, to a great many changes." Definitely come in, hit the ground running. That's what I want to say. And he's got... he's stolen, or someone has stolen, Edmund Cloudsley's book that he's made notes on how to use the Golden Idol. So let's have a look at some of these bookmarks. Miracle preparation. After the crook dot air input. Yep. So that is decrease air. Aim at the sky. Press the lever to maximum position and hold for at least 10 seconds. At this point, the idol should be full enough to perform the miracle once. So I think this means the idol is decreasing air from so it decreases or increases the element or elemental effect from the thing it's pointing at. But I think what's actually happening is it's charging the idol. So essentially the idol is taking on... When you say decrease air from the sky, what it means is the idol is taking in the air from the sky, so that then you can point the idol at something else and increase the air in whatever that is. this music is freaky. Cool. And we saw with the fire. I don't know what we're calling this. Charm. Let's say charm. With the fire charm that we saw very early on in this game. The note on it in, I think, part 2 or part 3. It said to perform the fire charm, first you must perform the freeze charm. So essentially, I think the freeze charm is taking fire out of something. And then you can perform the fire charm because you now have the idol charged up with fire that you can then emit somewhere else. So you need to suck stuff into the idol and then output it elsewhere. Okay, I'm saying my thoughts out loud, so we're all on the same page. And also, that's what you do when you play a Let's Play. Miracle hypothesis. So this appears to be like a man face down. Oh no, it's the idol. So it's the idol face down, and its stuff is coming out of its eye. I also cannot remember which. So the idol is, I think, red when charged and blue when uncharged, maybe? Okay. The water works better, but the effect is not as convincing. Therefore, increase air. Main challenge is ensuring my balance when holding onto the idol. Practice is paramount. So I wonder if... I think they're attempting to... I mean, I hope it's not annoying. I'm trying to guess where this is going before I see everything. This feels like they're attempting to pretend to levitate using the idol. So if they take in air from the sky, point the idol down, it shoots out air, and you get to levitate for a moment. And I think what he's saying is, if you used water, actually, it would properly raise you up much more powerfully. But obviously, you'll see all this water shooting out beneath you. So people will be like, what's with all the water, mate? Whereas the air will be like, oh, kind of invisible and like less obvious that this is some kind of jet propulsion. And yes, ensuring the balance. It's actually almost impossible to not fly off and spin in circles if you're using a single jet of air or jet of anything to propel you. Like, in order to hold yourself up without losing balance or spinning out of control, you need to point... This vector of force needs to go precisely through your own center of mass. And if you're off slightly, you'll start to spin. You probably knew that. Whereas like with Iron Man, because he's got like two... Oh, you can't see I'm doing it. Because he's got two jets in his hands. And maybe in his feet as well. But anyway, he hasn't got one. He can balance how those jets work. It's less unstable. I guess kind of in the same way that if you've got two legs, you can balance your body over and get your center of mass into a stable position. Whereas if you only had one leg, you need to make sure your center of mass is right over the way your leg is acting. Physics. Okay, safety notice. Has there been anything I need to click on? No, okay. Upon pulling the trigger, if the glyph input is meaningful, the idol will perform the intended action on the target it can see. Okay, we're getting a refresher on the stone. If its eye is red, it's ready for the increase output. So when it's charged, it goes red, and then you can discharge afterwards, and it will turn blue afterwards. If the eye is blue, you can only perform the input, the decrease input, the charging up input, and it will turn red afterwards. Cool. Right. So I think we understood about 90% of that before this chapter, and this is just kind of like really laying it on about how the idol works. Okay, this guy. And thus Griffin Reborn revealed himself to his brothers by demonstrating a true miracle. Okay, I think I understand. A ruby ring, a silver crown with gems. So I think this fella... Right. Kneel before Griffin Reborn and mirror. So I think he is posing as Griffin Reborn. using the idol to create magic, because this is in his pocket. Like, the others don't necessarily know about this book. And we know that this guy, Lazarus Hurst, was brought to the Brotherhood by, what's his name? Walter Keane? Let's get it right. Walter Keane, who we know has, well, who we heavily suspect has turned on the Brotherhood and is playing some kind of, I don't know, some game of deception. Something's going on. But so here's the events we think has happened. Walter Keane took the idol from Edmund Cloudsley. I think he did steal it. Like, I don't think that was a setup. Now, whether or not that raid on Edmund Cloudsley's house was orchestrated with the help of David Goren, I don't know. Perhaps. Because David Goren was recommended by someone else to Edmund Cloudsley, so maybe he's been a plant from the beginning. We don't know. Either way, and then the Brotherhood of the Masks suspected, and are probably true, we think that Walter Keane took the idol, didn't tell the Brotherhood of the Masks, and is now playing some kind of game with the Brotherhood of the Masks by introducing them to this guy. It's like, this guy's the real deal. He's got the arcane arts. He's a, you know, I was nearly dead and he resurrected me. Maybe he didn't. Maybe that's all a farce to get him into the Brotherhood. And now he's using the idol, which isn't in his pocket, by the way. It's not here. I don't know where it is right now. He's using the idol to pretend he's, I'm guessing, their prophet or their messiah or whatever the Brotherhood of the Masks worships, looks up to, using the magic of the idol. That's what's happening. This is all some kind of false messiah trickery thing, I think. Let's carry on. What does this guy say? Here, I brought back your staff, Griffin Reborn. Right. Okay, he's holding the fancy hat diagrams, but that's not... That's not old, sorry, Walter Keane, is it? Is it Walter Keane? Let's look at this stuff first, and then I'm going to go back to the previous chapter just to double, 2 chapters ago to double check. We can also check what we think. Right, give me actually. All right, here we go. Right, let's set ourselves up. So Walter Keane is this guy. So he should be in this. He's wearing the right clothes. We don't know about his mask. And then if we go back one more. I mean, maybe? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is Walter Keane. I think I thought Walter Keane was whiter than this. But he's got darker skin than I thought. I think because the raid on Edmund Cloudsley's forest getaway was quite a dark scene. I thought everyone was sort of like toned darker, and so I just thought that was a lighting effect. But actually, no, he's slightly darker than white. Anyway, sorry. Here I brought you your staff, O Griffin Reborn. So this is Walter Keane. He's got, ooh, what is this? A golden snuff box filled with opium powder. And it says A W. This looks like more of a W than an M. Like this would rotate and it would say W. So, okay. AM or AW. This, aha. So the staff secretes the idol. And it's... The golden idol is enclosed within the handle of the ornamental cane, and it's got the increase air code, I guess, written into the back of it. So he's recently used it, so... And it's got a hole in the bottom, so the air can shoot out. Yeah, okay, he's created a device that could precisely utilize the idol's expulsion of air. Wait, let me look at the golden ring. Let's tick this off. Right. May 14th, 1791. So I think we're like over a year since the last part. Dear Master McBain, these threats to contact the Chief Inspector about my past offend me greatly. Being an honest soul, I have no choice but to comply with your base demands. I may have invited Lazarus into our brotherhood, but he's not shared all his secrets with me. Luckily, I had an opportunity to see him practicing this miracle. He has a magical artifact hidden in his cane. When performing the miracle, he inputs the following glyphs. Increase air. Then he presses a small lever on the handle of the cane and it grants him the powers to demonstrate the miracle. I have no doubt the staff will work just as well in your hands as his. Sincerely, Darkhand Steward. So who's Master McBain? That is not a name we've heard before, I don't think. And I think this is a letter from... One sec. I think this is a letter from Walter Keane, not to Walter Keane. I mean, obviously not to Walter Keane. I think this is a letter he's written that's he's going to send. And Darkhand Steward is the rank and house of Walter Keane, and we did suspect, I think, that the letter to Edmund Cloudsley, the threatening letter to Walter... No, sorry. The letter to Ada Smith, who attempted to poison Edmund Cloudsley, who gave the instructions to poison Edmund Cloudsley, was from Darkhand Steward, and we did suspect that it was possibly Walter Keane, not just some random Darkhand Steward. Okay. I'm waffling a lot. I'm trying to keep track of all the pieces that are in place. I hope that's okay. Last person. I'm trying not to rush. I'm just trying to go through all the thoughts. I didn't even drink any tea when I picked it up. What an honour to experience such a historical event. So he's got the king. He's got a pocket watch, but not... Does it matter what time it is? 25 past 12. Wait. I think that's meant to be an X, but that does say 7. Not 12. I think that's meant to be XII, but keep an eye on it. Okay. Blue sealed letter. Dear Water Snake Brother Maker. Oh, Maker. Maker was the lawyer, I think. I think Maker was the lawyer in the reading of the will chapter. Let's bring this up. Yes, there he is, Nicholas Maker. He was the lawyer. Look at me remembering stuff. I think it's because I put it into a spreadsheet. It just kind of locked it in a little better. Okay. As the director of the Seven Seas Trading Company. Is this the trading company that got the guy in the pub chapter murdered? Willard Wright was murdered by Ash Blair, trading company. Works for the trading company after the Idol, right? Okay. Okay. Seven Seas Trading Company, which is a little wink to ding ding ding. One of the India. East India, West India. East India, obviously. Not obviously. Could be either. As the director of the Seven Seas Trading... Sorry, I'm taking so long because I'm thinking, and it's not often that I can think. I do not assess work applications. Please go through official channels so my staff can evaluate your credentials as an attorney. Darkhand Master JT. Darkhand Master. Okay. So maybe one of these guys is a Darkhand Master. I guess we've got... I guess this counts as a person. Oh, I haven't clicked on everything inside of him. Oh yeah, there's a second note. Protocol of an attempt to demonstrate a miracle. June 23rd, 1791. One sec. May. So he hasn't sent this letter, if this is him sending a letter rather than holding a letter already sent. Sorry. So June 23rd, which is about a month after that letter that Walter's holding. The lighthouse on Gull Islet near the location. The lighthouse on Gull Islet near the Horn of Colhead. Time, noon. Present, Lord Angus MacBain, Lord Alistair Coke, Dr. James Turner, JT, Sir Walter Keane, Mr. Lazarus Hurst. In charge of notes, Mr. Nicholas Maker. Okay. So grateful for you to keep a name of everybody. So we know, let's do this. James Turner is a Darkhan Master. So he's one of these guys. But we can't tell which one is a Darkhan and which one is a whatever the other ones might be. There's also stuff by their feet. Maybe there's some tattoos. We'll get to that. Holy shit! Okay, what is he? He's a water snake master. So one sec. Water snake brother. Oh, this is so right. Yeah, that's fine. So you're a water snake initiate. So this is yours. Okay. That's good to know. Right. And this is a water snake master. And his head is... This man is not breathing and has a severe wound at the back of his head. And his arm? His arm appears to be broken. Okay, face not looking good. He's got the ring of the Brotherhood. April this year. 2 months ago. Water Snake Master. Lately I've experienced disturbing dreams and I feel cursed. Are you the source of this with your magic? Desist immediately and know that when pushed, my rage is absolute. Do not toy with the well-being of the Empire's general, for I do not tolerate being attacked. In my many voyages I've learned the dark arts too. If need be, I'll summon 1,000 invisible demons to crush your bones. Proud Beast Master. Okay, so is this likely that... So this is Red is a Proud Beast. And we've got a Darkhan Master, as the note in this guy indicates. JT is the Darkhan Master. We've got a Water Snake Master, and then we've also got a Proud Beast Master. All three Masters are present. Probably. The note doesn't necessarily mean he's present. Okay. June. So, very recently. Dear friend, it's not so simple for me to get you a seat alongside me on the Court of Directors at the Seven Seas Company. As a doctor, I recommend you stop obsessing over it. It will only unbalance your humours. Let us discuss it. Or, let us discuss alternatives at the next party at Kensington Palace. That's a real place, Kensington Palace. I mean, you know, everything else has been pretty fictional, right? Both his legs appear to be broken. This has not gone well for you, has it? And what is this? Some kind of... That's the bottom half of this cane. So what do we think? This guy smacked him? Or Walter Keane smacked him with it? He's been like, can I just borrow your cane for a sec? Smack. Okay, here's your cane back. Because that's what he's saying, right? I brought your staff back. This is all a ploy, right? He doesn't actually believe it's Griffin Reborn. He doesn't... No. No, because yeah, okay. Right, now let's go left to right for the stuff. Rules and history. Griffin Rebirth. The one who claims to be the Griffin Reborn must perform a miracle. If someone repeats the miracle, it's proven that it was not a miracle. If someone repeats the miracle, it is proven that it was not a miracle, but mere magic. Claimant is punished with death. If no one can repeat the miracle, the masks fall. Claimant is crowned as Griffin Reborn. Okay, so the masks have fallen and the crown is ready. So this is the route it's taken. So, excuse me. So it's not like this guy was punished with death because he claimed a miracle and it failed. History. Chronicles of Griffin Rebirth. First, in 1725, the first Dark Hand, Lord Harrington, demonstrated flying, jumped off a cliff to his death. In 1756, proud Beastmaster Lord Pledsley performed a séance talking to the spirits. Lord Angus MacBain repeated the miracle, proving him unworthy. In 1764, the Dark Hand Master Lord Jones demonstrated the creation of a homunculus. Lord Angus MacBain produced a homunculus as well. In 1771, proud Beastmaster Lord White carried out the hypnosis of a servant. Lord Angus MacBain hypnotised the same man as well. Angus MacBain is a real stickler in these attempts of miracles, isn't he? What do we think Angus MacBain is? A master? Unclear, isn't it? Although actually we're saying this guy's a master and he's got... the reason I was saying that was because of the colour of the cloaks. But actually this is a dark cloaked master and we know at the moment the masters are white cloaked. Okay, anything to click on here? Yes, just that. Okay. Let's look at the masks. 5 strange looking masks. Cool. Now let's look at the... let's do all of the feet. And then the oars. And then everything else. Okay. Okay, he's got little spurs on his feet. Are we going to be looking at footprints at some point? Yes, we are. Okay, so let's... what we think it's square-toed? Round-toed? Also square-toed? Pointy-toed? And we had pointy-toed in the last chapter when he and Dave Gorman ambushed that guy in the bushes. And square-toed. Okay. Heavy wooden oars. And okay, so we have pointy-toed going this way and then coming back again. And we have round-toed, I think, only coming this way. Interesting. So what does that suggest? Does that suggest... so you're round-toed. So does that suggest you were hiding back there and then appeared? Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure. Let's go into the lighthouse. So the door is locked from the inside. Let's do a quick... oh wow, we've got lots of things going on. I was going to do a quick character sheet, but just so you can see what's under here, this says somebody blackmailed somebody to find out how somebody would perform the miracle of something. Okay, so we'll get to that at some point. I actually just want to fill in a bit of this. So we know this is Nicholas Maker, the lawyer. We know this is Walter Keane, the charming bandit. Sir Walter Keane. And we know this is Lazarus Hurst, the new recruit. We know there's a doctor called James Turner, who is a master. Dark Hand Master. So one of these guys is James Turner. And actually you've got the list of the people who are present, right? But no reference to who... to their sort of ranking and house. So we'll get to that. I just wanted to kind of pop this in. Let's have a quick look at what else we're going to have to do while we're here. People who had the magic relic in their hands chronologically. This person, then this person, then this person. Okay. So I feel like the person who died, who had the broken half of the cane next to them, who's round the corner, is one of these people. So it's that guy. It's Walter Keane, who's, in fact, Walter Keane is the person currently holding it, right? So, you know. Here's my guess before I read whatever's happening over here. I think the dead guy briefly took the cane away from Lazarus Hearst to inspect it. Maybe he looked inside. And Walter Keane went over to him and was like, nope. Flump. Game over. That's my guess. Right, what are we trying to find? What's the ultimate scroll? So somebody somethinged blank the blank, using the blank to demonstrate the miracle of blank and become blankety blank. And then somebody blanked blank the blank afterwards. This resulted in somebody's death from blankety blank. Right. Simple. Simple. This is going to be fine. Let's go upstairs. Less up here than I thought. By guarding the lighthouse, you guard the Empire. General Alistair Coke. Okay. Okay. A trapdoor that connects the staircase to the top of the lighthouse. Not locked. Right, so this guy was pushed, right? Not locked. Okay, hypothesis. Hypothesis. So the lighthouse is locked from the inside, which suggests someone went in but didn't come out. So what this means is, here's what I'm suspecting. Someone who knows how to use the idol. Well, Lazarus Hearst, right? Old round shoes, Lazarus Hearst, went up in the lighthouse with the dead guy. He wasn't dead at the time. Pushed him off the top of the lighthouse, and then jumped off the lighthouse, but used the idle staff thing as a kind of propulsion thing so he could land gently, like to give himself a soft landing, like shh. You know what I mean? Give himself a little jet landing. And thus never came out of the bottom of the lighthouse. So what it looks like is this guy, who we haven't named yet, went into the lighthouse by himself, walked up and jumped off because, I don't know, whatever motivation you want to attribute to him jumping off of his own accord. And then, of course, Lazarus Hearst walks back, never walks there because his starting point was the top of the lighthouse. He whooshed down, walked back. Now, this doesn't yet explain why Walter Keane walks there and walked back, other than to retrieve the staff, maybe. But I think that's what happened with this guy. Now, so I think this note is maybe a red herring. I don't think the Proud Beast Master pushed him off. But I'm not sure. Dear friend, it's not so simple for me to get you a seat alongside... Ooh! Me at the Court of Directors of the Seven Seas Company. As a doctor, I recommend you stop obsessing over it. It'll only unbalance your humours. Let's discuss alternatives to the next party at Kensington Palace. Now, here's the thing. This guy's... Let me look at the notes. as a doctor. So do we think this guy's Dr. James Turner? One sec. So, as a doctor, I recommend you stop obsessing over it. It will only unbalance your humours. And this guy's a water snake master. No, where's the other note? Someone's got a note. Dark Hand Master James Turner. Okay, sorry, I'm sort of saying half sentences because I had a thought in my mind. So my thought was, what if there's been a bit of a switcheroo here? Because they don't take their masks off until the miracle is performed, right? So you could easily do a mask swap somehow. If I right, let me just think. So this guy is a Proud Beast initiate. So he's going to have the Proud Beast. He's going to have the red mask. And James Turner should have... Let's call it the brown mask. So James Turner is a Dark Hand Master, so he should have this mask. So he should... If he is James Turner, he should have this mask and this coat. James Turner is the Doctor, but I'm not right. Sorry, under my head a little bit. So James Turner, if the Doctor should be a Dark Hand Master, right? And if this guy is the Doctor, so the question is there's a note in this guy's pocket that suggests he's the Doctor, right? But he's also wearing a water snake mask. So something is incorrect. So what masks were swapped? So James Turner is a Dark Hand. Let's see if I can put this over here. Right, so we can see. If this is James Turner, he should be a Dark Hand. Walter himself should also be a Dark Hand. And you should be a Proud Beast. So where is this water snake mask coming from? What is... You know what I mean? There's something is happening. Some kind of switcheroo is happening, I think. But how do we identify how that happens? So, and again, the idea of a switcheroo implies that they don't know what they look like under the mask, but maybe they do. I mean, they know who Walter Maker is. Like, who knows? Their names are not a secret, right? They've got a register of who's here. They're not secret names. So maybe they do know. They're lords and sirs, right? They're famous people. They're known people. Okay, so maybe the switcheroo isn't happening, but something weird is going on. Dark Hand Master JT. And there's only one J and there's only one T. So we do this. They do the miracle. No one can repeat it. claimant is crowned as Griffin Reborn. So at some point he was holding this. He performed the miracle. He's going to become the leader. Right, back to the thinking tab. So summon something to something to use the blank to demonstrate the miracle of blah and become Griffin Reborn. Right, so I think this is going to be... Let's get some of this filled out, right? So Lazarus Keen. Lazarus Keen. Right, okay, I see what's happened. So hang on. I get it. Lazarus Keen jumped from the lighthouse to demonstrate using the staff to demonstrate the miracle of, I don't know, flying, I guess, and become the thingy reborn. Let's say miracle of flying. Right. So it's not a secret murder, but we did understand why he was the only set of footprints that walked away. And I guess Walter Keane bore witness to it. So he jumped from the lighthouse using the idol, I guess, not the staff. And now we're going to get somebody attempting to copy the miracle. So I think this is just going to be jump from the lighthouse again. This resulted in whoever this person is death from a head wound, I guess. So we just need to identify who this person is. And I guess I think it's James Turner, right? Because he's the doctor, but it says Dark Hand Master. That's what's throwing me, you know? As a doctor... Okay, sorry. As a doctor, I recommend you stop obsessing over it. It'll only unbalance your humours. I understand. The person writing the note is the doctor, and they're saying, me, as a doctor, I'm my recommendation to you, as a doctor, stop obsessing over it. It'll only unbalance your humours. So I think he also held the staff. But obviously the staff was exhausted. What's the current position of the staff? Increase air. But it's blue, so it's not charged up. So I think he actually did take... I think he did the entire thing identically. He took the staff, but obviously didn't know how to use the idol. Didn't even know there was an idol in the staff. Jumped with it, fell to his death. The staff broke. He went to get the staff back again. Right, got it. I've understood the chain of events now. We're cool. We're cool. So you're not the doctor. You're the water snake master. So who is the doctor? And why do you have a stamp that says 7? So it seems like Angus McBain is the guy that keeps attempting to emulate the miracles, right? So do we think it's Angus McBain? Where's the list? Lord Angus McBain. It seems likely to me that this order would be rank order as well. So I think we've got the 3 masters at the top. Then we've got the steward, who's water keyed, and then we've got the 2 initiates down here. Now we just need to. Right, how are my namings going? So I think this is Angus McBain. So how do we identify who a doctor is? So actually, I think we can do this section as well. So I think Lazarus Hurst used the staff first to perform the miracle. And then I think Angus McBain, if it's him, held it second to replicate the miracle and failed. And then Walter Keane went and collected the staff from him. My only question now is, the only reason I'm not putting Angus McBain is I'm questioning, am I doing too much of a logical leap there, or is this the implication? It's always Angus McBain replicating things. I think that's a reasonable enough clue, right? So let's put him in. And we know he's not the we know he's not the doctor because he's not. In fact, let's try and place these masks. You have 1 red mask. We've got two dark hand masks to place, right? 1 dark hand mask goes on you. You're a dark hand steward. 1 dark hand mask goes on the doctor, which is one of these guys. So they're both accounted for. The water snake mask is the dead guy. So these 2 must be proud beasts. What am I trying to do here? What am I trying to do here? What am I trying to prove? Proud beast, water snake. Let's say you're the doctor, dark hand, and then another. No, sorry. Why are you a proud beast? There's a. What have I done? No, sorry. There are 2 water snake masks. Because one of them is physically over here. Sorry, there are 6 people. That's why I'm getting confused. You're a dark hand. One of you is a dark hand. You're a proud beast. And then one of you is a proud beast. So between you 2, there's a water snake and a proud beast. So what did your note say? Your water snake. So your water snake. Your proud beast. So this is a letter from the water snake master to the water snake master from the proud beast master. Okay. Let me just make a little note. So we're going from left to right. Proud beast. Proud beast. Actually, that's not true. Depending on who the doctor is here, the doctor is the dark hand, and the other person is the Proud Beast. So these are Proud Beast and Darkhand, the two masters. Proud Beast, Darkhand, Water Snake. Water Snake. Now, why was I doing that? I can't remember. I think I was trying to eliminate... I was trying to force this guy, Angus McBain, to be a Water Snake somehow. Dear Master McBain, these threats to contact the Chief Inspector about my past offend me greatly. Being an honest soul, no task. So this, yeah. So, okay. One sec. We're going back. Sorry, I'm saying half thoughts all the time, but I will explain what I'm thinking. Someone was very anti-Walter Keane. And it was Jeffrey Sinclair. It wasn't McBain. McBain! Okay, that's what I wanted to check. Is Sinclair here? No. So, back to this note. In which Walter Keane This is interesting though, isn't it? So this is from Walter Keane, because Walter Keane definitely invited Lazarus into the Brotherhood. So I'm guessing he took... So, sorry. Walter Keane wrote this letter a month ago to McBain. Right? Who we think is this guy. And I think because he went over to collect the staff, he's then taken the letter out of his pocket, pocketed it himself, and now it's back in his pocket. He probably also took some of this shit from him. Ah, Angus McBain. Here we go. So this is stuff he's taken out of Angus McBain's pocket. This is what is it, a snuff box or something? Is the clue that he's raided Angus McBain's pockets. Right, okay, so this is what... zoomed in. I forgot you could zoom in. So, to put all these thoughts together. Walter Keane wrote a letter to Master McBain explaining how the idol worked and that it's hidden in the cane, interestingly enough, so he could replicate the miracle. So why didn't it work? Did he give him false information? Let's double check. He's got an artifact hidden in the cave. Before the miracle, he inputs the following glyphs. Then he presses a small leader. Right. So what he hasn't told him is you need to charge up the cane first. He's just told him the second part of the process. So this guy here, he didn't just take the cane to kind of make sure it was a fair test. I'm going to hold the things that you hold. He took the cane thinking that was the reason it worked. But he didn't fully understand how the idol worked. So he has been set up. Maybe for the reasons that, you know, he's been threatening Walter, but maybe for other reasons. Right, so I'm ready to sort of fill a lot of this in. Right. So I think this is Angus McBain. Great. And that means that this is Angus McBain. I'll get to this top corner in a minute, don't worry. And then we've got the matter of the Doctor. Who's James Turner and who's Alistair Coke? Now, does anyone have anything on them that's... Alistair Coke is a lord. James Turner is a doctor. Why would you have the stamp that says VII? Does this star mean anything? No. So it's not the tattoo. So it doesn't indicate. How do we know? What's the clue? Claimant. So it doesn't say who gives them the crown. All right. In the meantime, let's fill in this top corner here. So Alistair McBain blackmailed Walter Keane to find out how Lazarus Hurst would perform the miracle of flying. So that much we know. So we can do this bit. That's going to be fine. To find out how Lazarus Hurst would perform the miracle of flying. Oops. Where's he gone? Cool. We have figured this out. And I'm glad there were enough clues. I was worried we'd have to... Just because Angus McBain always seemed to be the challenger of the miracle doesn't mean he'd do it. It doesn't mean he'd do it this time. It just means it's more likely. But actually we had enough... It turns out we did have enough clues to be a lot more certain about who he is. Right, now. Let's just double check your pockets. So this is from the Proud Beast Master, who is not the Doctor. There's no real clues. There's no real clues about who he is. Other than he's the Proud Beast. And this is from the dark... What do we call it? This is from JT. James Turner. Next party at Kensington Palace. Okay, here we go. Seven Seas Company. This guy has a seal with a 7 on it. So perhaps he's the Seven Seals director. So this guy is James Turner. And this guy is Alistair Coke. Okay, that was the clue. Okay, and then we can just Angus McBain and Angus McBain. Did he not die from a head wound? Severe wound to the back of his head. He broke his arms and legs. Yeah, definitely a head wound. Lazarus Hurst. Not Lazarus Keane. There we go. Whew. That felt fun. You know, that was like you had a hard bit and it sort of came together again. And yeah, fun. There's some interesting bits where you have to do some inferences and then dig a little deeper. I felt that went well. That was interesting. Sorry if it took ages. I did seem to be chatting a lot while discovering evidence, but I find that quite fun. I find it interesting to hypothesize as we go and then amend things. You know, hope you find that interesting too. Let's read the conclusion over this horrific music. When Lazarus Hurst jumped from the lighthouse and survived using the hidden golden idol, look at him riding it like a pogo stick, Master Angus McBain thought he had enough information to repeat the miracle and prevent Lazarus from becoming Griffin Reborn. He seized the staff from Lazarus and locked the lighthouse door to prevent foul play. However, he did not know all the secrets of the idol. It did not work for him, and Angus jumped to his death. We figured it out. Well done, us. Right, I'm going to mop up here. I'm going to just copy some of this information into my spreadsheet and screenshot so I can refer to it later if I need to. And then I'll catch you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're enjoying this game. It's actually a lot of fun, and I'm glad I pushed through my distaste for the art style to engage with it, because actually it's a lot of fun, and I know there's a sequel to this game as well, so I'm starting to get a little bit like, oh, maybe there'll be more of this game after we're finished. So exciting. Yes, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Hope you're doing well. Let me know what you thought and stuff like that, comments and business.